Yes. What's going on, guys? This has been AKA Day Trading Addict, and I have another good video for you guys. Today, we are going to talk about the ultimate trendline trading guide for beginners. Trust me, you're going to love this one. So let's go. Now, today we are going to go over 7 things that you can do with trend lines that will help you with your trading. Okay, so let's waste no time. Let's dive in. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over how to draw the trend line. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so let's say that we have an uptrend. Okay, the market's going up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. Now this right here, okay, right here is called a swing low because the market went down, okay, and then it went back up. Now, when we create a new high, you can actually call this a swing low, okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to connect that, okay, to the next swing low. So we only need 2 connections, guys. That's it. 2 connections. Okay. We're going to draw that and we're going to connect those two. And that's how we're going to draw our trend line. And the same thing if the market's going down. Okay. If the market's going down, you're going to do the same thing, guys. These right here are called swing highs right here. And all you're going to do is connect it to the swing highs right here. Okay. So let me go to the chart and show you guys a quick example. All right, guys. So what we have here, we have swing lows right here, and we have an uptrend. So we are going to basically connect these swing highs and swing lows. So what I like to do is I like to, use the body of the candles, but if you want to use the wick, you can use the wick too. So let's match this up right here. All right. So notice how we have these swing lows are connected right here. Now, let's talk about the first thing you can do using this trend line. The first thing you can do, guys, is identify a trend. Okay. So when the market is going up like this, okay, it's obvious that what we are in an uptrend. So if we are in an uptrend, guys, that means that the market is going up. Now, if the market breaks this trend line and starts to trend down, okay, in general, guys, that means that we are in a downtrend. So that's the first thing you can do with a trend line. The second thing you can do with a trend line is adjust trend lines and create new ones. A lot of people, what they do is set a trend line and they forget it and they don't adjust it. So look out here, guys. We have the market going up. Notice how we had this nice parabolic move right here. So what you can do is you can actually create a new trend line. So right here, we have these lows right here. You can connect these lows, right? Notice how we connect these lows right here. Now, if the market keeps going up and making higher highs, guess what? You can adjust your trend line. You don't have to just leave your trend line there. You can always adjust it, okay? So what I would do is, now I noticed that notice how right here, we broke this high right here. We created a new high, so I would take this trend line and I will adjust it to this high. Now, notice how we broke the trend line again, but we didn't make a new high. Okay, let me move this away. We didn't make a new high right here. So I don't have to adjust it because we didn't make a new high. So that's how you use your trend lines when you are basically creating new ones and adjusting it. Okay, so that's the second thing you can do with trend lines. The third thing you can do with trend lines, guys, is you can use trend lines for trend line breaks. So notice right here, guys, this trend line right here, okay, when the market was going up, it broke this trend line to the downside, okay? We came back up right here, but we didn't make a new high. So if you know how to read the market, you can get in for a nice sell, okay, to the downside. Now notice how right here, guys, again, we broke this trend line right here, okay? And when it breaks the trend line, the best thing to do, okay, is to wait for it to break it and wait for that pullback. So notice how we broke this trend line, okay? We actually even broke these lows right here, which is a good sign. We pull back to the trend line break, and that's what you want. You want that pullback to the trend line break. A lot of times you just don't want to trade that break because it could be a false break. So what you want to do is wait for it to break, wait for that pullback to that breakout, and then you look for trades to the downside. Vice versa, if the market's going down, you wait for it to break that trend line, wait for that pullback, and then you look for that trade. Notice how it broke this trend line right here. It pulled back to that breakout. We have a nice trade to the downside. Now, that is for the main trend line. Okay, there are main trend lines, and then you have counter trend lines. So let me show you guys what I mean. So notice how we have the market going up, okay? And we have these mini trend lines right here. So the market is pulling back, making these trend lines right here. And when this breaks right here, guys, this is a good time to actually take a trade, because a lot of times when it breaks these trend lines, it means that the market will most likely continue to go back up. So we have another example right here. Remember, we only need two connections, guys, when it comes to trend lines. So right here we have connection right here and a connection right here. Nice trend line break right here, and we're looking for a continuation. Another trend line break right here, guys. Notice how we have 1, 2 connections right here. Nice trend line break to the upside. So guys, you can use the main trend line break, okay? Or you can use these counter trend line breaks that goes with the trend. Now the counter trend line breaks, the way you could get in, okay, is you can just wait for it to break, okay? And either break this high right here and you get in, or a lot of times what I do is I like to, as soon as it breaks and I notice that it's going above that line, I just get in. But that's a little bit more aggressive. What you can do is just either you wait for a candle to close. Notice how we had a nice uh, bullish candle right here, or as soon as it breaks a higher, notice how we this high right here, this swing high right here. As soon as it breaks this swing high, you can put your stop loss below this pivot. So let me show you guys a good example. Okay, right here. Let's say you got in right here. You could put your stop below right here. Okay, which is that pivot, and you look for your nice risk to reward. Same thing right here, guys. You can wait for the candle to close, or you wait for it to break this high right here, right? And you can put your stop loss below the trend line structure, and then you can look for your target. So that's how you can get in with these counter trend lines, right? So that's another thing, guys, you can do with trend lines to help you with your trading. Now let's go to the fourth thing you guys can do when it comes to using trend lines. And that's basically connecting the tops or bottoms of the price. So let me show you guys a quick example. Now, if we are in the uptrend, okay, right here we have, the market going up. If it looks like you can actually connect the tops, you can do that, right? And this will help you gauge the market and look for possible resistance areas. Okay. Also, if the market is going down, okay, you can also do that too. Let's say right here, you see how the market is going down. We are looking for price to look like it's going down or up, that you can actually take a trend line and connect the bottoms or the tops. You can tell the way the market is moving, right? Notice how it's going down, up, down, up, down. You can tell right away, okay, I can connect these bottoms. And what you can do with that, okay, with this trend line right here, you can clone it and you can basically make a channel. So notice how I clone this. I put it at the top right here at that swing high right here. And if it hits the trend line, guys, and you see a nice setup, you can actually take this trade. So this is another way, guys, you can use trend lines, okay, to help you with your trading. Now let's talk about the fifth thing you guys can do when using trend lines. Now you can actually use trend lines as profit targets, right? So this is a good example right here. Let's say that the market is going down and it hits this trend line right here, and you're taking a short right here. Okay, you say, all right, this looks good. Everything's looking weak. Let me take this short real quick. All right. Now, notice how the market breaks, and you can basically target the bottom of the channel. Now, a lot of times the market doesn't go exactly to the bottom of the channel, so you have to understand that you don't have to touch it. A lot of times, if it comes close enough, you can take your profits and get out of here. So that's another way you can use trend lines. Okay, you can use it as profit target. So let me show you guys another example real quick. So right here, guys, remember right here, we had this nice trend line break, okay? So if I was in this market right here and the trend line broke right here, okay, and we made this double top right here, okay, this is a good sign to say, you know what? I think the market is going to reverse, because we had this nice break and we have this nice double top right here. And guess what? One of my targets could be the trend line, okay? So notice how we have this trend line right here, and I'll say, okay, most likely it's going to touch this trend line. Now, what I can do is I can say I'm going to wait to see how price reacts to that trend line, or I could take off, some profits right there, and if it breaks the trend line, I could trail my target down some more. So whatever you want to do, I'm just showing you guys another way you can use trend lines for profit targets, right? So let's go to number 6. The sixth thing you guys can do when using trend lines is combine it with price action, okay? So let me show you guys a good example. So right here, we are going to talk about support and resistance, okay? You can combine trend lines with support and resistance. If it lines up right at support or lines up right at resistance, you can actually use that trend line for even more confirmation so you can take nice high quality trades. So let's go show you guys a quick example. Right here, we have a nice trend line. Okay, let me draw that trend line for you guys. Draw that trend line, and basically we have right here. Okay, we have this nice trend line. Now, notice how we have this bounce right here and this bounce right here. So we have nice support, and it broke that support. When price breaks support and it comes back to it, now is price is actually resistance. Okay, so we have this zone right here where we have price bounce right here and price bounce right here. So it came back to this resistance and that trend line. So we have two things, guys. It's not just one thing. We have two things lining up. We have resistance and we have that trend line. So when you see that trend line and resistance meet up, guys, it's a high quality trade. And you can say, you know what? I want to take this trade to the downside so I can get some profits. All right. So that is another way you guys can use trend lines. Let me show you guys one more example. Okay, so this example is using supply and demand. Okay, so we're going to use a demand example. So right here, guys, we have a nice trend line right here, okay, to the upside. And then also we have aggressive buying, which is demand. So we have aggressive buying right here, another aggressive buying right here. Now notice how basically we have this demand right here, okay, and we have the trend line lining up. So we have two things again. We have the trend line and demand lining up, okay, with a market that's making higher highs. So it came back to demand, nice wick rejections right here. You get in right here, guys, for a nice, okay, risk to reward. So guys, that's another example on how to actually use trend lines and price action together. Now let's go to the last thing, number 7, which is using trend lines for Forex breakouts. So let's go. Okay, so when the market is in a strong trend and when price breaks that trend line for the first time, it's a strong possibility that that's going to be a false break and it's going to continue to go back to the upside. Let me show you guys real quick. So right here, we have a nice strong up move, okay? So let me actually take this trend line right here, all right? And we're going to put it right here. And notice how it broke this trend line for the first time. And as soon as it breaks this trend line right here, it barely breaks it. A couple of things you can do is if you see anything that allows you to get in that trade. I see a nice trend line break to the upside right here. Okay, this could be a nice trade to the upside because a lot of times that first break in that strong trend is a false break. Let me show you guys one more example. Right here, guys, we have a nice strong trend to the upside, and I'm about to connect the trend line right here. Now, notice how as soon as it breaks this trend line right here, guess what? It barely breaks that trend line and we go for another higher. Okay, so notice how it barely broke this trend line. I see a nice trend line break right here, a counter trend line break, and a nice trade to the upside. But notice how it came back right here and we found support right here. So we talking about another trade to the upside right here, all right, for some more profits. So a lot of times, guys, in a strong trending market, the market does not want to pull back a lot. So that first trend line break, boom, most likely is going to be a fake trend line break for people that's trying to short the market. It's going to trap a lot of people that's trying to go short, and most likely is going to continue to go back up. All right, so keep that in mind. So guys and girls, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also join my free Telegram group where I post motivational videos and also I post exclusive discounts for my trading program. And all my real information, guys, is below. Do not go to Telegram and try to search me up, guys. It's not going to work because there's a lot of people that's out here trying to pretend to be me. We have fake Telegram groups, fake Instagram pages, guys. Make sure you go to the description below for all my real information. And make sure you join my training program because that training program is going to take your trading to the next level. If you have any questions, comment below because I try to answer all your guys' questions. Thanks a lot for your time and please have a great day.